and get into the 2022 NL pitching rotations breakdown and analysis. Now, I'm literally going to go all 15. I'm just going to kind of give you some food for thought, what I'm thinking. I think we're going to have some value here. I think there's going to be no value, yada, 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 whatever the case might be. So let's get right on into it. First things first, we'll just start, we'll start in the AL East and work all the way down to the AL West. So the Braves, they got Fried, Morton, Anderson, Yanoa, and Tucker Davidson. I think we're going to be able to find value early on in the season, middle in the season, late in the season on these boys. Hauser obviously missed last season with the hand or the whatever injury where he was like ripped off his jersey or something and hurt his thumb or one of his throwing fingers, whatever the hell. I can't even remember what it was, but he was out all last year. And Hauser is a dog on the bump. So I am very excited to see what that combo of Fried, Morton, Anderson, and Yanoa do. That Tucker Davidson, he made a couple of starts last year, looked really good towards the end of the year. Obviously, everybody knows Drew Miley out of town and joins my Cubbies. So we'll talk about that soon. But next up is the Mets. Again, I think we're going to find a lot of value on the Braves pitching rotation. The Mets. Couple of question marks here, but there are obviously still some value that you're going to be able to find. Now, DeGrom is hurt. I'm not exactly sure how long. I think it's 4 to 6 weeks, maybe longer than that. I have no idea, but I know it's not any short amount of time. So Scherzer, Taijuan Walker, Chris Bassett, and Carlos Carrasco. If you're wondering, whoa, Chris Bassett, yeah, Oakland Athletics, Chris Bassett, yeah, exactly. He's pitching on the New York Mets now. Obviously, we're going to be able to find value on Max Scherzer, but anytime Scherzer's taking the bump, you're not really going to have that F5 value. So it's going to come down to the K prop, but obviously them sons of bitches are going to be inflated. So I'm thinking stay away from Scherzer early on here in the year. Taijuan Walker, give me all of him every day of the week and 5 times a day on Sunday, especially if you're giving me the F5 plus a half. I will take that all day long. Chris Bassett, same exact spot. He pitched the lights out in Oakland last year, cashed a boatload of F5s for us time and time again. I'm a big fan of Bassett. And then Carrasco, kind of a question mark there. Is he going to be able to fill in for DeGrom in the same light that DeGrom would have shined? No, not at all. I can't even say that whatsoever. But I will tell you that I think that he could surprise a lot of folks and, hey, really may have that next man up mentality. I'm not sure 100%, but I think old Carrasco could make some waves there for the Mets. But we'll see who they bring in for their number 5 guy because obviously 5 guys in a rotation pretty typically. So there's the Mets. Next one up, the Phillies. I think we're going to be able to find a boatload of the Phillies rotation, a boatload of value again. We got Aaron Nola, Gibson, Eflin, Wheeler, and then Ranger Suarez. Ranger Suarez is the only one out of that group that I would kind of tell you to stay away from. Not that he's bad by any means, but there's just a few times where he kind of goes a little bit brain neutral. So I would stay away from Suarez. Love Zach Wheeler. All about Eflin. All about Gibson. I was about Gibson when he was with the Rangers. He was cashing tickets because the Rangers they were just perceived as a terrible team, which they kind of were. But you would get Gibson on the bump for at plus a half at like minus 130, and it was just hammer left. I mean left, right, center every single time you possibly could. So I think we kind of get that same value. The Phillies are going to, I think, be a little overvalued to open up the year. I'm not going to lie to you whatsoever, just because of that lineup, because of that pitching rotation as well. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show once we get into some of the division and league winners as well. But keeping the proverbial podcast train steaming down the tracks, we move on to the Miami Marlins. In the NL East. The main guys I wanted to talk about and the guys that I think we're going to find value on is Alcantara, Lopez, and Rogers. Obviously, Trevor Rogers still there, Sandy Alcantara, and then Pablo Lopez. Those boys. Those boys are F5 cashers, left, right, and center. They're going to be names that you're going to want to take stock of, definitely for K props as well. Alcantara showed some struggles last year in certain spots, and of course, so did Lopez. I want to say the guy that showed the most consistency, you didn't ever really, you just kind of set it and forget it, was Trevor Rogers, and I think he returns to dominance again. And I think we see Lopez and Alcantara kind of fix some of those mistakes from last year. So I'm a big fan of the Marlins rotation. Not too much about the 4th and 5th guys. But I do think we can find a boatload of value on those 3. Now, the last team in the AL East, my friends, the Washington Nationals. And I'm going to tell you point blank, period, that we are going to fade every bit of this pitching rotation. I am going to absolutely be betting against them in every opportunity that I can. I'm going to be looking at RBI props against these guys. I'm going to be looking at extra base hit props against these guys. These are things you need to take stock of with these guys for sure. And it's something that I had to learn. And I feel it as my duty to break down, because pitchers are so damn important to MLB betting, and nobody wants to talk about a pitcher. And I had to learn this stuff the hard way, my friends, and I feel it is my duty with more and more younger bettors coming up in the space and wanting to get involved. Holy shit, basketball's almost over, NHL's almost over. What do we do with MLB for the next 17 fucking months? What do we do? I feel it is my duty to say, yo, this is what it is, because I fucked up. I made these mistakes. Listen to me and listen to what I'm trying to tell you here. So this is going to be a rotation that we can fade the mess out of. Patrick Corbin, Gray, John Gray, I believe. I don't think that's John Gray, but I should have wrote down first names. I was just going fast and write down last names. Eric Fetty, Anibal Sanchez. I remember that. Don't know how I remembered Anibal Sanchez. Josh Rogers. So that's going to be one that you can really, really fade. Patrick Corbin, I think, had above a 7 or at least above a 6 ERA last year. Don't quote me on that. I'm going to have to look into it, but man, oh man, that rotation has me scared to hell, and the books, we'll talk about in the division winners, but you'll see the books are definitely giving them odds kind of based on that rotation, I think, for sure. Moving right along into the Central, my division, baby. You see, our logo is the Central. Our logo is literally the Central. I mean, I don't know what more you need me to say, but everybody wants to think that the Brewers are going to win this outright. I don't know. I'm not talking shit yet. We'll get to my Cubbie Corner. That's right. If you came for some Cubbie insights and analysis too from yours truly, you better believe it. But you're going to have to stick around for just a little while, because we're still talking about pitching rotations. The Brewers scare the absolute shit out of me. I cannot lie to you. We have a 4-game stint with them to open up the year, open up the season on Thursday through Sunday, and I am not excited about it whatsoever. Now, I will be excited about it if I can meander on over to the friendly confines, which sounding like I might be able to, but don't quote me on it. Just stay tuned for some content. However, Burns, Woodruff, Peralta scare the shit out of me. Peralta in a +0.5 spot for the F5 is just a guaranteed lock. You're probably not going to get Burns or Woodruff on a +0.5, but you can probably guarantee that if you're playing, if the Brewers offensively are playing a subpar a pitcher that's carrying like a 3 or 4 ERA, maybe even a 4 or 5 ERA early on in the year, you might as well feel safe playing that -0.5 if you're getting it at solid odds, because we got to face Corbin Burns to open up the year, and I'm not excited about it. And then Brandon Woodruff to follow it up, and then Freddie Peralta just dealing that nasty two-seam on the inside. That I hate it. I hate it. Now, they also have Eric Lauer and Adrian Hauser, I believe it is. Hauser and Lauer. Those guys don't scare me at all. They didn't really show any dominance last year. They're just kind of those fill-in 4 and 5 guys. I don't want to call them fill-in guys because my dumb ass can't get up on an MLB bump and do anything. I'll sit here on this side of the screen and just talk about you fellas. My apologies, but I don't know. They don't really scare me from that perspective. However, moving right along, talking about not scaring me whatsoever are... should I say the Deadbirds? I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm sorry. The St. Louis Cardinals. I'll show you a little bit of respect. I don't know, man. I'm a little worried about the old Cardinals rotation this year. Adam Wainwright, yeehaw, cool, victory lap. Bring him back with Yachty, bring him back with Pudgeloose. Hey, do what you got to do. I don't know. Miles Mikolas, okay, for sure. Flashes here and there. Steven Matz, what the hell are we talking about? Dakota Hudson, I can't tell you at all. And then Jake Woodford, I really can't tell you at all either. I think this rotation gets mashed to hell. I don't think it matters if it's home, if it's away. I think you can fade him. Now, Wainwright consistently has pitched like a damn dog in front of his home fans. You put him at Busch in front of anybody against any team, he's going to deal, no question about it. But one thing I will say is that he absolutely falls off the face of the map when he goes on the road. So something to think about. I mean, you can even look back to last year. That was something I keyed in on last year and was able to make a boatload of money on. So there's for the Cardinals. How about them Cubbies, baby? Hey, Chicago, what do you say? Cubs are gonna win today. We got Hendricks, Stroman, and Miley, Mills, Steele, and fucking Smiley. What do you say? We're winning today, baby. Oh, sorry. I'm just very excited for opening day. Kyle Hendricks obviously can't wait for the Prof to get back on the bump and start fucking dealing. So excited about that. Stroh, losing my mind. I've been tweeting at him all offseason. Can't wait to see Stroh in the blue pinstripes, baby. Also, Wade Miley. He kicked our ass all last year. Former Cincinnati Red. If you're wondering, yeah, why does that name sound familiar? Yeah, stayed in the Central. Come join the Cubbies. Typically, teams don't do that because they think a guy's going to fall off the map and they're going to mash the shit out of him. But I think Wade Miley does some shit here for the Cubbies. Hell of a war behind that guy. We'll talk about that as the year rolls on here for sure, though. Justin Mills, or Alec Mills, I'm sorry. Alec Mills, can't wait to see him pop up again. Justin Steele looking good. And then Drew Smiley, okay. I'm not excited about it. I'm not excited about it at all, and I hope we make some type of move or can do something because Smiley got mashed left, right, and center against the Braves. He was on the Braves last year. He was almost an automatic fade for me. If I saw any team going up against him, I instantaneously went to the F5, instantaneously looked what the odds were, and 99% of the time made a play on it, and 99% of the time cashed it. So not a big fan of having him in the rotation. But moving right along, we'll talk about the Cubbies a little bit more later on. But the Cincinnati Reds, same kind of rotation. They added a few guys, lost a few guys. They got Tyler Mahle still. Sorry, it's Trevor Mahle. Tyler Mahle still. Raver San Martin. I don't know anything about old San Martin. And then Vladimir Gutierrez. Obviously saw Vlad last year. He's pretty damn dominant. And then Hunter Green. Nothing I can tell you about that. And then their number 5, nobody as of right now. So very interesting kind of to see. I can't remember, and I wish I would have looked this up before, and I guess I got the old Google machine here, but they got and if anybody's in the chat, drop it in the chat, but they had the guy with the dreads, long dreads last year, and he threw heat, and I don't know what team he went to, and it's not, oh, goodness gracious. I'm going to think about, Jiminy Christmas. Now I'm going to say it's going to be in my head. I'll think about it at some point in time. But either way, wrapping up the NL Central, the Pirates, not Johnny Cueto. It's not Johnny Cueto. That just came to my mind, though, but not Johnny Cueto. The Pittsburgh Pirates. Last team in the Central, we got Mitch Keller, JT Brubaker, Will Crow, and Bryce Wilson. I think, once again, them boys are going to get absolutely mashed. There's some spots that, like, if you find some good odds on them, you can back the old Roots plus a half. It's very specific spots, though, and it's not even necessarily like seeing them on their home field. Like, it's a very damn specific spot for you to want to back that. So there's the Central, my friends. 5 more teams remain. If you know the drill, if you're a fan, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 5. Duh. Okay. No, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 5. Goodness gracious, I'm seeing double over here. I was like, yeah, wait, 3 times 5 is 15. There's 15 in the National League. Colton, okay, here we go. Over to the NL West. LA Dodgers, first one up. I think they're going to be dominant as shit. I don't think they're going to have any type of problems whatsoever. Walker Buehler, Julio Urias, Clayton Kershaw, Andrew Heaney, and Tony Gonsolin. Andrew Heaney, maybe a little bit of question marks. Showed some bumpiness, showed some rockiness, definitely pitching for the Angels last year. But maybe coming over to the National League, maybe in a different LA ballpark. I don't know. I'm trying to make shit up where there's nothing there, honestly, to tell you the truth. I'm not a big fan of Heaney. But moving right along, Padres, they got Darvish, Musgrove, and Manaea. Also Snell and Clevenger, but I'm not sure if they're injured. They're not 100%. What's all going on? I don't know if they're going to be ready to start the season. I think they are, but don't quote me to it. It's kind of murky. And like a couple websites I looked, they were still showing injured. Like, I'm not sure what's going on, but obviously big fan of Sean Manaea. Backed the hell out of him in Oakland last year. Big fan of you, Darvish. You know me, any former Cubby I still love. And then Chad Musgrove, obviously he'll have a good outing here or there, but we'll see what's up with Snell and Clevenger. Snell will too, so will Clevenger, but we got to see what's up with them boys first. Moving on to the Giants. We got Logan Webb, Carlos Rodon, formerly of the Chicago White Sox, the wrong Chicago team, the Southsiders, Anthony DeSclafani, Alex Wood, and Alex Cobb. Now, this is one of my favorite rotations outside of the Cubbies, outside of the National League. I absolutely love the Giants rotation. All 5 of these guys are going to be able to cash tickets for you all year long. Alex Cobb, maybe a little bit of a question mark, some question marks last year, but as far as I'm concerned, Webb, Rodon, DeSclafani, and Wood are all going to be able to cash tickets for you, regardless of if they're favored in the first 5, not favored in the first 5, on the money line, on the run line, whatever. I think we're going to make a lot of money on the Giants again this year. No Johnny Cueto, obviously, but there you go. There you have that. Rockies, next one up, second to last. They made Mr. Kyle Freeland. I believe it's Kyle, but I know it's Freeland. Yeah, Kyle Freeland, I think. Yeah, that sounds right. They made him their ace, so very excited to see what happens there, followed by German Marquez and Antonio Sanzatella. Hell, I remember German and Antonio, but can't remember if it's Kyle or not. I'm pretty sure it's Kyle. Austin Gomber, and then Chad Kuhl. Gomber and Kuhl, definitely those 4 and 5 guys, to put it lightly, but they will give you an outing every once in a while. So keep your ear to the streets on those guys if you see a lackluster offense playing against them, because you will tend to find some good value then if they are in that spot. Last but not least, Diamondbacks rotation. I think we're going to be able to fade these guys again this year. Again, there'll be a couple of spots where you can back a +0.5 in the first 5 or whatever the case might be. But Madison Bumgarner, Merrill Kelly, I always say that wrong, Bumgarner, Merrill Kelly, Zach Gallen, Luke Weaver, and Zach Davies. Zach Davies was solid in some spots, Gallen solid in some, Weaver, Kelly, Bumgarner. I mean, like, those aren't bad pitchers by any means whatsoever. They just get the short end of the stick being in the NL West. So I don't think they have any chance whatsoever, but maybe there'll be, again, a spot here or there that you can back them on a +0.5, or a +1.5 for a full game. Like I said, teams would throttle them for the first 6, 7 innings, and then they would just give up, and the D-backs were like, well, we're not going to fucking quit. It's time to play BP on your bullpen. Forget you guys. And then they ended up covering her +1.5, and you picked it up at +130, +140, and everybody was all over the -1.5, like, whoa, how did that happen? Oh, my gosh. It goes a little bit deeper than just high-level things when it comes to MLB. So something to think about for you there for the D-backs. So that does it. All of 2022 NL pitching rotations, breakdown and analysis.